Alrighty, folks. Welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Q&A. Back with you here today, Chris Varley, Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. As per usual, this is an open forum. So come one, come all with questions. Don't have any pre-done content for this, so I rely on you folks to drive content with your questions so I can help you best utilize Trade Ideas software. As per usual, if nobody's asking questions, I will do my best to keep this interesting and informative relative to the software and the market itself. But I do much prefer it when you folks are driving the content with your questions versus me just kind of aimlessly droning on about things you may not have an interest in. So again, any questions, don't be shy. Please get those into the questions panel for me, or the chat panel, however you're viewing. I'll give it another moment. If no questions come in, we'll find a direction to go. But I do very much love when you folks have the questions for me. I feel like that's a much more efficient use of everyone's time. All right, no questions early on here, unfortunately. So with that said, I guess, let's see, what can we talk about? I've got this chart up here. We could talk about that, right? And again, feel free to interrupt me at any point, folks, but I guess since nothing's coming in, ALHC, I mean, it's an interesting day in the market here. And someone would say, well, Chris, why is it interesting? And I would say this. We've got Friday was, I believe, the biggest up day of the year so far. And we got some follow through yesterday, right? That's Friday. Up, dipped. A little weakness on the close there. Was that a foreshadowing of today? Perhaps, because we've been down, down, down again today. But ALHC continues to buck the trend. Let's see, it had started a little bit of a downtrend. Earnings, positive reaction to earnings. And it's pushing up here against that 1670 level, give or take. So anyways, that's why I find it interesting, right? Because it is completely bucking the trend of the day. And there's not a whole lot of stocks doing that, to be honest, at this point. As we continue to sit down here in correction territory. You're interested in what I'm doing? I am sitting in cash. That is what I'm doing. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the selling to stop. And then once it stops, I want to see some follow through, more than a day or two. What am I watching? My evening scan here. My evening watch list, or whatever the heck I call this thing. My evening scan, I guess that's what I call it. That's what I'm mostly watching that. I'm watching the sectors, the ETF sectors here. And that's really it at this point. I mean, I'll watch this too on my lifetime high scan, but I don't keep it loaded during the day. In this position, lifetime range scan. I'm keeping an eye on this too to see, how short this list starts to get. And it started to shrink quite a bit. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm doing right now. Watching the indexes and kind of just biding my time. There's no reason for me to get involved in anything. We're clearly breaking, a secondary uptrend on the overall indexes. SPY, there we go. And someone would ask me, what do I mean by that? And I would tell them this. It's been a hot minute since we've had this much down, right? The closest thing would be this back here, exiting the summer into, I guess just exiting the summer, through the summer, because this was still summer here when it recovered, because we wouldn't have fall start till sometime after September there. So, and this is little more prolonged. I don't know that's necessarily more on a percent basis or not. I guess it is because we hit correction territory here, and I don't think we hit correction territory here, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's where I kind of sit with everything right now. Um, are we headed to a bear market? I don't predict things, and I, feel it's fool's errand to do it. I think people that predict have to do it because they got to entertain folks, on TV or their newsletter or crap like that. Um, you know, if this is the end of this bull market, I mean, it's been a heck of a ride, right? I mean, let's be really realistic about it here, because we started, here's the bear market, 2021 into 2020. Three, I think in 2023, we got rocking with the bull market again. I mean, we're still in a bull market for now, but it's got some cracks and some holes and some weakening in it. That's for sure. So now the next thing to do for me is let's wait and see. Do we continue to break down? And if we do, that means being extra nimble on days where we're going to be up and trying to ride some of those up waves. Because if we head towards a bear market, some of your most vicious up day rallies happen in bear markets. It's just that they get sold kind of quickly afterwards. That's kind of what we've got going on here in this correction territory that we're in, right? So like we look here, I mentioned this before. That's Friday. That's the largest up day of the year so far, right? And then we got a bit of a follow through, but it was a weak follow through with the close of yesterday. You mentioned that there's that close yesterday where we were sitting up here and we just fell off and gapped right back down. And so this is the question: if this is this going to become the norm as we move into bear market territory, right? That's what we got to kind of look at this point. So I had thoughts about today, things that look strong from lists. And I thought maybe I'll nibble. And I said, nope, let's wait till Wednesday and see what happens Wednesday if we can get some follow through on Wednesday, right? So that be where I'm living at the moment. Elementary real estate. I'm using web version for first time. Cannot find my scanners and alerts. Do you normally use the download version, elementary? And if you normally use the download version, my follow-up question would be, have you saved your stuff to the cloud? Because if you haven't, there'll be no way for you to get it until you go back and open the download app, save it to the cloud, and then you can open it from the web version. And when you say web version, I'm going to surmise you mean the web desktop and not the web dashboard. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's pull up some stuff here. On the download page here is the web, the web desktop. This alternative web access. We click on that and we log in here. This is the web desktop where you can load your own scans into. Versus, bear with me here. This here, which is the dashboard, and it's a web dashboard, but you cannot load any of your stuff into here. You get what you get on this. If you can kind of follow up on those proposed questions and statements. Get your rocking at least in the direction of knowing what you need to do from there. Yep, I just answered your questions. I don't know if you paid attention to anything I said. So again, do you have your scans saved to the cloud? Elementary, let's start here. Can you hear me? All right. All right. We'll move on from that and hopefully we can get his audio going. Two issues. Brokerage Plus, I have a strategy set up. Provided an exit time under most of the time it goes right past the exit time. Okay, so things that I would ask you to look at. Number one, what's your time setting in TI? Which broker are you using? If you're using IBKR, make sure Trader Workstation has the same time settings and formats, and then make sure your PC is also all in the same time setting and formats. That'd be the first thing I point at you. Unfortunately, this isn't exactly the best place to handle this kind of item. All right, Elementary, I'm going to circle back to you in a second here. Yeah, it's not possible it could enter. If you have a strategy disabled, it's impossible to enter something. I've never seen it in 7 years of using this. So it's that you definitely had to have had it either that enabled or you click something somewhere. But it cannot happen. While bugs can happen in the software, I'm 100% confident that that could not happen. I would bet anyone's life on that. So my guess is this: whenever you see something go short in long strategies, what happens is this: you're going to have either one strategy or multiple strategies trying to trade the same stocks over and over again, and you'll start to get all these opening positions in it, and each one of them will have a stop associated with it. But the problem is the opening positions don't associate with a specific stop. It's just the stock and the stop. So let's just say opening position one hits stop for opening position number two. Well, stop for opening position one stays in, and two is gone now, but you sold part of those shares while the other stop still sits in there. And if it gets hit, regardless of those shares are gone, you can trigger a short that way. So you have to make sure that your strategies are not trading the same stuff over and over again. And I would hope that you're doing this in the simulator at first and not in live trading. I could never stress this enough, and it seems to happen every week, and I can't wrap my head around this, but you should never be doing something for the first time with real money, ever. It should always, always, always be in paper. So, sorry, I came across someone yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. I'm sorry. I had someone last week that ran an auto strategy. They were 3 or 4 days into using the software. They don't know anything about trading whatsoever, and they just took an alert window and stuck it in and attached it to their brokerage account, and it was not good. It was not good, and I just, it kind of baffles me why someone would do something like that. So that's without a doubt what you had go on there. The strategy had to have been enabled. It was either one or two strategies, and they were trading the same stock over and over again. So your order started to overlap, causing it to go short like that. All right, now on to elementary. So if you have them saved to the cloud and you're in that version of the software, you're in the web here, I'm just going to go load it from the cloud. I believe it's under tools, load from cloud, and all your stuff that you have saved there will be there. So tools and load from cloud, and you'll be able to load your stuff from there. The only thing you won't be able to load there is a race, because you can't do races inside of this. Outside of that, you're good to go. You're on your phone? No, you're not going to be able to do that. Sorry. I just saw that. Yeah, there's going to be no way to load that on your phone because if you try to access this web on the phone, it's just not built for that. All right, we're going to move on from that stuff now because clearly some audio issues going on there. Um, so also, all right, all you can see, whenever you run into brokerage plus problems, email me. All right, info at trade-ideas.com. Give me the lowdown on what you have happening. If it's brokerage plus, just go ahead and preemptively send me your support files right there and just say I had XYZ take place. If you can take a look here, and while I dread looking at people's support files, I will have a look, and the more information you get me, the better. It's always good when people send me screenshots, orders tabs, and like whenever anybody sends me screenshots, please don't use your phone to send a screenshot. They're not legible, or not readable. Sorry. Screenshots on phone. Use the Windows snip tool using the Shift Windows key and S key, and take full screenshots. So like don't do something like where you're taking just part of it and you're trying to hide things. Because almost always whenever anybody takes a screenshot, sends it to me and hides stuff, what I need is in the hidden part. Happens more often than not. But yeah, so with brokerage plus troubleshooting, screenshots of orders, executions, and positions are always three good things. Yeah, and there's a learning curve. Um, there's without a question a learning curve to the software, especially brokerage plus. Um, it's a lot more complicated than I think it should be. It used to be very simple, but you know, wasn't my choice to have it get so mucked up like this with complicated order windows and things like that. But it's an is what it is situation. So I like brokerage plus overall, but there used to be some more simplistic ways of using it. I can see your text, elementary. I've addressed multiple times, um, but I guess you're just not following along with what I'm addressing at this point, elementary. So let me try this one more time. If you are on your phone, you are not going to be able to load your own scans. We don't have a mobile app like that. Your only mobile option is this here. I'll give you a link to it. You can use this link here, and you can use the scans that are in there. There will be no way to load your own scans while you're on any kind of mobile device, though. No realistic way to do that. So um, that is the short and skinny there. You can please confirm, elementary, that you heard everything that I just stated. Thank you. And of course, yes, Pepe, amen to that. I'm sure you remember back when it was just the big buy and the big sell button, right? I miss those days. And again, anybody with questions, don't be shy. Today, I have to cut out of here. I need to be in a meeting at 1 o'clock Eastern. So I'll cut out of here at about 12:55 Eastern. So don't delay if you have questions, please. Don't delay. So one of the things, it's your all you can see, everything should take place once you make any changes. I would just always I would do this anytime, especially with Brokerage Plus. If you make any changes, one of the first things I would do is I like whenever I make some major changes, reset your connection a couple times just to shake up the server. And then when you make changes in Brokerage Plus, you want those changes to stay. Always save it to your default layout. So File, Save Layout, and then click on Default _ layout, all capitals like that, and give it a save. One of the confusing things also that I don't like about Brokerage Plus is if you right click, there's this Save as Default. That's just saving your columns on your tab like that as a default, meaning that if you open a new positions tab, for example, if I save as default here and I open a new positions tab by going new positions tab, it'll just look like the one I created that I have already. That's what Save as Default does in Brokerage Plus. It doesn't save what you did here. And it's the same thing even in strategies. It doesn't save what you changed or edited in the strategies. It'll just save how these columns are set up and sized and things like that. So anytime you make major edits into Brokerage Plus, I would always just say go File, Save Layout, click on Default _ layout, and go ahead and save that. Bring that back over. TP, yes, I can see you. I'm guessing TP is also elementary. Elementary doesn't seem to confirm anything that I've addressed to him. Okay, we're going to do this one more time, elementary. You cannot load your own scans on a mobile device. You can use this page on a mobile device here. This is your one and only option for mobile devices. It has pre-made scans in there that you can use on a mobile device. That is it. There's no way to load your own scans into a iPhone, Android, or any other. Those are generic scans, my friend. Yes, they are. We do not have a mobile app for you to load your own stuff into. It's meant to be a desktop app. So this is what we have. There we go. Excellent. We got that all squared away. Perfect. So, all right. Other questions? Don't be shy, everybody. You got just about half an hour before I have to make a departure. So please, if you have questions, get those in for me. I was talking about something to address one of the other users that they were running into a situation with timing on a strategy they were running. If you have a specific IBKR question, I can attempt to address it. I'm not an IB. Can I use only with the Windows desktop app? That is it. With this app here, the Windows one here, you cannot use it on any web version whatsoever. You cannot do it. You need to have the Brokerage Plus interface open. You need to have Trader Workstation open. You must configure the API in Trader Workstation. And then you would, connect through here, get the settings, client ID 0. If you're going live or paper, please do not use IB Gateway. Save me a huge headache. And you'd save those settings, and then you would go ahead and connect here like that. Here is a video that I did on this. And again, I cannot stress this enough to anybody listening. Please do not ever do something for the first time with real money when it comes to the stock market. Everybody's going to pay a tuition into the stock market without any question whatsoever. There's nobody that's going to ever get into trading and become successful without having lost some money at the beginning of it. However, You don't have to get overly punished, especially when there's a simulator / paper trader to do the learning on. And if you know, to quote Barry, if you can't make money in the paper trader, you can't make money with real money. That's just the way it goes. And that is a lesson that I had to learn the very, very hard way, unfortunately. Once this is done, I'm not sure what this is. Once what is done. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can create. You could just trade through it. There's an order entry panel like it's a broker here. I mean, I'm going to connect to the paper trader here, and we're connected to the paper trader. And if I click on a stock here, it'll load just like in a broker would. And I could click buy or sell. I'm defaulted always to the buy side. Set my share size, market, limit order, just like in a broker. You can do everything here with it. And you can do that with IBKR once you configure the TWS API and all that. You can create strategies that are like one-click strategies. I've got whatever ones in here. There's nothing special. This is all just test stuff for me troubleshooting for people. But you can set it up and can set them as default strategies for the chart, buy or sell ones. You can set them up so you can just right click off of a chart and select trade, and you can pick the strategy you want to use to make the trade. There's a lot of editing you got to do in these things depending on the in-depthness you're doing it. You got to select an account in here. After you connect to a broker, you select an account. This has to do with automated trading. I'm going to steer away from that. Your order details, what's your position sizing, fixed size, fixed dollars based on your stop loss, the units that you're using on it, the order type. If it's a limit order, what your offset is. You want a stop or a target or a trailing stop. And if you want to hold time, all those things like that. You can use however you want to use through it. It's not going to do everything for you. You have to do things, right? You've got to click and pick the stock and send the order. And if you want to have a stop order attached to it, you have to create the strategy to have that attached to it and things like that. Do you mean you could trade through IB and TI at the same time? Is that what you're asking? Like send an order with trade ideas and then go into Trader Workstation and do an order? Yeah, I mean, you can. You could have you have to have Trader Workstation open for the connection. So sure, if you want to send an order, for stock XYZ here, and you want to set the stop for it by going over to Trader Workstation, you can do that. That's up to you. What you can't do is you can't have Trader Workstation open on your computer and then have it open on your phone. IB won't allow for dual connections like that. You can have IB open in one place only at a time. And I don't really understand why you would want to place an order through trade ideas to IB and then just go into IB itself and then do an order. I would manage everything through trade ideas personally. But can you do that? Sure, why not? And folks, I see, 80 some odd people between Twitter and YouTube. If anybody else has questions, don't be shy. Get those questions in for me. Yeah, no, we don't have that. You have to. So in order for you to get the API connection to Trade Ideas, you pay them for specific data, and Trader Workstation remains open the whole time. You can go back and forth to it if you want. No, if you use TI, you have to have Trader Workstation open on your computer. If you go over the video I gave you, I would suggest going over the video I gave you for the connection part of it at least. And then I would suggest then going over user's guide here. Let me check that out. Now it's just going over the user's guide as well. And then, like I said, the other thing is before you do anything with IBKR, I would use Brokerage Plus and our paper trader first. I would not connect to IBKR until I understand how all this stuff works. All these things, I would not connect to IBKR until I know how all these things work inside the paper trader first. Make your mistakes for free. That's one of the best recommendations that you give. And again, anybody with questions, don't be shy. Please get those in for me. Got a little under half an hour before I have to roll on to some meetings. All right. All right, so SPY's working on trying to find itself a bottom on the day here, and ALHC is benefiting from that. So, we started off in the session here. Bill had asked what I'm doing right now. ALHC is on my hot list to be looking at. My FOMO side says, why aren't we getting in this thing? My logic side says, whoa, slow your roll, son. If I could ever scroll my charts. There we go. Working on a third day up here right now. I don't really want to go chasing into it right here, but it does kind of have that could leave the station feeling. But, you got this kind of weakness in the market overall. Week ending yesterday, this moved down, did just put in two 15-minute bars here, but that doesn't mean a whole lot yet to me. And again, anybody with any questions, don't be shy. Please get those questions in for me. I tell you, it's fast. It's crazy how fast a market deteriorates, right? Sometime last week, this position lifetime high scan still pretty loaded with stocks actually early last week. And it is slim pickings in here for anything that you really want to be trading. And Q's looking real iffy. Let's see if it can't leave itself a big bottom and shadow buyers stepping back into it today, right? I did look earlier. China is looking fairly healthy, or it was anyways. See what it looks like now. Yeah, looking pretty good here. Looking real good right now, China. K-Web hasn't looked as good as the FXI. Let's see if that's the case today. Yeah, that's the case again today. But still, it looks good, at this bottom from earlier in the year. So this is, pretty major trend reversal at this point. If it can take that, if it takes that high out, man, look out for China really getting going. Been a long time down here, right? As the saying goes, the bigger the base, the bigger the boom. So again, folks, don't be shy if you've got any questions. Love to answer them. Let's see, at 12:30, we had a 5-minute trade wave buy on WRBY. There's that buy. Some room up into the VWAP there from today. So let's see what happens. Thing is really sold off here. Let's see what else. VIK had a buy come in. Not as much room to that VWAP. Another not so awesome looking chart here. Kodak. Again, anybody with questions, we're hanging out for at least another, 15 plus minutes. BKKT. Woof. It's a fairly negative reaction to earnings. Let's see, ADTX had a 5-minute buy here. And got to sell very shortly after. SCE. Well, seems to be the theme of today. Most of the stuff is moving in lockstep with the rest of the market at this point, right? We close, gap down, 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 kind of basing, a little pop, and that's it here. That is it. TNXP making some noise. Oh, this is really bucking the trend today. So a nice move up. Kind of squirrely and choppy on a little bit of a consolidation there before pushing up on new high of day. Way off an all-time high, and I'm going to guess the stock is reverse split a bunch of times. Oh yeah, look at that. That thing's probably reverse split 2 or 3 times. I would imagine the next time it's in compliance trouble, that'll be the end of this company. Publicly traded anyways. So YHC, what's that doing? Yeah. Wineries. Take a look through some of the top 10 here, I guess, while nobody wants to ask any questions. Again, though, it's open floor. Anybody that has questions, please, 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 don't be shy. That's not really an awesome looking chart. HMR, also not the most awesomest looking chart, but could be setting up here a little bit, right? Let's back up into the VWAP. If we can clear that and have some volume step in, start to play that off a break on the high of the day. It's a little room up to here if we can do that. I certainly will not be participating in it no matter what happens, but just a thought. LAZR. Not a whole lot going on there. Has earnings in a couple of days, so see what that says for it. Does look like, some interest has stepped in yesterday and even more today on it, so who knows? People are buying in anticipation of something, quite possibly. QUBT. Up $1 on the day. Also has earnings in a couple of days. Talked about TNXP already, as it's going to win another race. It's busted over that 19, breaking out again here over that 19 level. LCID. Huge float. Real small price stock. FINV, some sizable gap up, sizable opening 5-minute bar, and proceeded to give some up. It's back over the VWAP. It's earning play. China, we talked about that, right? So could be interesting, something to run a little bit into the close here. Clearly $11 was a bit of a challenge for it, but it's right around a lifetime high. It made a new all-time high today. The prior all-time high was 1061. So it's busted out up over that for sure. IHS. So another stock here that, big opening range here. And then just kind of collapsed afterwards and continues to look like it's going to do the same. A real big topping shadow there. And last but not least on here, TIGR. Having itself a nice day. While I know this says Singapore for the country, it usually does well when China's doing well. So see if it can't get above that level there. Looks like it might be a challenging level, but we'll see. And once again, I will solicit for questions if anybody has any questions at all. Sentinel 1. Interesting. AAOI did not have that on my bingo card of being up today, but yet here it is. That's an AI related play. These things haven't looked great. Really took a hit. Had some kind of news come out, I think a contract or something like that on Friday. So, here it is today. Maybe trying to hold in on that $20 level, bounced off of it today. See what it can or can't do. And again, I'm going to continue to solicit for questions for the next few minutes before we wrap up for the day. Still no questions. All right. Well, if we don't get a question in a moment or two, I'm going to wrap it up a little early here. Hard to believe nobody has a question for me at this point. CCIR, who and what are you? Having itself a nice day here. So I guess it's a SPAC. Look at this gold financing / bank. I'm sorry, it's Europe. Gold, silver. Oh, this one's gold. Sorry, I thought that was the silver one. Seeing a theme here, everybody. Gold. I believe this is some kind of international ETF. Germany. Insurance. Gold. More Europe. Berkshire. So yeah. When you see that going on, this one's silver. I confuse PHYS with PSLV. Forgive me. Almost all precious metals through here for the most part. That is something. Thus is the state of the market. We talked a few minutes ago, is the market trying to find a floor here and maybe give a little bounce? It is not. Not for the moment anymore. I mean, we'll see if it can hold this 560 low of the day here. If it were to give this up, we're likely looking to be testing that 550 level again tomorrow. That would be my guess. It seems like a very reasonable if-then statement. All right, folks, with no questions coming in the nearly last 15 minutes at this point, I'm going to wrap it up early for the day here. I do kindly thank you all for being with me and for the questions that we did walk through. You'll see one Mr. Dan Merkin tomorrow, our CEO, doing the Q&A. He likes to stay in touch with everybody here. And then Thursday, you'll likely see Steve, and Friday, Andy. So I thank you all again, and you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.